or computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday's stream. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing all right. Doing pretty good. Wow, that's still very obvious. I've got nothing specific planned for today. Just kind of chilling, just kind of vibing with you guys. Maybe we'll get into something, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not really gonna push nothing. Dubs, hello, welcome in, buddy. So something I wanted to put out there that, like, I just didn't have time to do last week, Monday on stream. This right here that I'm sure you guys noticed. Nothing gross. What actually happened is so while Mana and I were on vacation, we stayed, we were on vacation with, my parents. They were up there with us. Basically the main reason that we took the trip in the first place. And, the four of us were staying in my aunt and uncle's house because they actually left the day that we arrived to go visit my cousin, their daughter, where she lives. And so they let us stay at their house for the duration of our vacation, which was super nice. And they have a great house, absolutely lovely. They've done a lot of work on it since the last time I was up there. And I love their house. I love how it looks. But there was a day, I don't remember what day it was, but like a couple days into the vacation, I was about to take a shower, and there's only one full bath in their house. So, you know, the four of us were sharing a shower, which thankfully really never became a big deal because both of my parents are up at like 4 a.m, and Mana and I get up at a reasonable hour. So we were never like fighting for it or anything like that. But anyway, so my mom was using the bathroom, and I was in one of the spare bedrooms where we were keeping our luggage, because in the actual bedroom where Mana and I were like sleeping wasn't big enough to, like, it was basically big enough to have the bed and a bit of a walk space for us to get to the sides of the bed, and that's it. So we kept our luggage in a different room. And so I was getting my clothes ready. My mom was finishing up in the bathroom. I didn't hear the toilet flush because they have like really old and very like real solid wooden doors that don't allow a lot of noise to pass through. And so I didn't hear her finish up. I grabbed my stuff and was walking towards the bedroom to basically just sit in there and wait for my mom to get done. And then again, this old solid wood door just opens and smashes me in the face. And I happened to be like, I was walking like by the bathroom and just happened to like turn this way towards it. So the door came out, completely missing like the front of my face, and just smashed into the side of my face, busting my lip. It was very funny. I wasn't like mad at my mom at all. The situation was stupid and just the pinnacle of shit that happens in our family. So that's what this is. That's what I've been dealing with since the vacation. So that was fun. And of course it also happened like it was like either the day before, like a couple days before we went to Niagara Falls, where I planned on taking a lot of pictures of Mana and myself and taking some videos, and like we went on the Maid of the Mist, and like I planned on like having like a real romantic moment with Mana and like giving her a kiss and everything, but like this was just too fucked up and painful to do any of that, and I was just self-conscious about it because it also like it looks like a cold sore, so like I was super embarrassed and self-conscious, so I didn't really end up doing a lot of that. I wore like a mask for those 2 days, which is thankfully now like socially acceptable to do. So yeah, that's this. But yeah, that's how are you guys? Yeah, our my parents don't watch this. They barely can figure out their television. Like they don't understand what streaming is. I don't think even if I gave them a direct link to this stream that they'd be able to figure out how to watch it. So I'm not too worried about speaking pretty frankly. I love my parents. I love them dearly. We have vastly different worldviews, and we are just different people. So, while I love them, and I love the opportunities to see them, because again, you know, they live like 700 miles away from me, so I only get to see them maybe once a year if I'm lucky. So this year, I think we've actually seen them twice. I think they came up and they were here for like a couple days while essentially passing through on another like trip that they were doing. And then we saw them like for our vacation this year. Because Mana and I flip-flop vacations every year in terms of 1 year we spend it with my family, the next year we spend it with her family. And even then, most of the last few years that we've spent either with her family or doing our own vacation, it's usually down in Florida. So my parents have been able to like come and visit us, and we still see them for a couple days. But this was definitely the longest that we've like stayed specifically with them in a couple years. And again, I love them, but we disagree on a lot of things, and so that was something to deal with. On top of the fact that they have a very different view on what a vacation is than I have come to. So again, like I, you know, grew up with them and doing the vacations the way that we did it, which was, for them, a vacation is always is trying to do as much as humanly possible at whatever destination you're going to. So every single day is regimented. You know what you're doing. Things are planned every day, and you do those things, and it's get up and go, and you're doing stuff the whole day, and not getting back to like wherever you're staying until very late. Like for them, basically the only thing you should be doing at the place you're staying is like sleeping and bathing there. So while vacationing with them is fun because we do a lot of things and all of those things we do are fun, I would not say that a vacation with them is refreshing. Most of the time it's pretty exhausting, and it's to an extent by the end of it we're like, we were looking forward to coming home. Like we in the last few days we were like looking forward to like coming home and just like getting back into things, which again they'll say is like part of the point, is, you know, because a vacation shouldn't last forever. You should, you know, it's just a break. But to me that's also the point, is that it should be a break. It should be rest and relaxation with the option to do fun things if you want to. Which is most of the vacations that Mana's family takes. So they go down to Florida every year. I don't know if they want me like openly talking about where specifically, so I won't, but their idea of a vacation is to get there, and then that is their plan, is to get there, be there for a week, and then come home. There's nothing else. Any sort of things they want to do are mostly spur of the moment, and you maybe figure it out that morning or something, but that's like as far in advance as they're going to plan for anything. So the first year, turn the background music down just a little bit. The first year that I went on vacation with them was an adjustment to relaxation. Because so I remember the conversation with my father-in-law leading up to it. You know, just talking to him about it, and, you know, they said like, you know, hey, we're going on our trip this year. We'd like for you guys to come with us if you're able to. They helped us out on a lot of the financial burden of it, because initially we said no, but they so again, I won't say where specifically, but we go to, I won't, okay, here's what I'll say. I'll tell you the city we go to, but I won't tell you the specifics of like where we stay or anything like that. So every year they go to Panama City Beach, PCB, and they get a condo. Like I said, usually for like a week. And so this year, you know, they were planning their usual trip. They invited Mana and I to go with them. And, you know, again, we were like, you know, we don't know, like, the money and blah, blah, blah. And they were exceptionally gracious and basically said, hey, we will take care of the condo and, like, those costs, and, like, you guys can ride with us, so you won't have to worry about travel or anything. Literally, the only thing you guys have to worry about financially is your own food and whatever, like, spending you want to do on stuff. And so we were like, yeah, absolutely, okay, we can do that. And that's also completely fair. So, in the time leading up to that, you know, we were like over at their place one time, just like having dinner or whatever. And I was talking to my father-in-law, and, you know, I was like, okay, so, you know, we're what time do we need to be up and here so we can leave? And, you know, he's like, well, this day, you know, be here at this time and we'll pack up and go, or you guys can like spend the night beforehand so that we can get up and go earlier. And I was like, cool. So what are we doing? And so I was like, okay, so let's just say Monday. Okay, like Monday's our travel day. We'll get there at a certain time and just, you know, kind of like do whatever during the evening and not really too much about it, because I'm sure we'll be exhausted from that drive anyways. Because from where we're at in Indiana to PCB is around a 10-hour drive, I believe. You know, so that first day is basically just all travel. And I was like, okay, so we're gonna get there. Like, what are we doing Tuesday? And he was just like, I don't know, probably go to the beach. And I was like, okay, cool. What about like the rest of the week? Like, what about Wednesday or whatever? And he just kept looking at me because I was just like, again, with how every vacation I've always done was Monday is this, Tuesday is this, Wednesday is this, Thursday is this. So for him to just be like, I don't know what we're doing, we're just getting there. I literally like it did not compute. It was very much a I didn't understand it. Like I could not comprehend not knowing what I was going to be doing on vacation. And so like I'll never forget of it. Like he just looked at me and he was like, "Son, I don't think you get this." He was like, "My plan for the vacation is to get there and be drunk until we leave. Is to sit on the beach and drink. That's my plan." Yeah, exactly. I was like, I need the input. What do you mean? Like the unknown factor of it just astounded me. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have things planned? And again, that was the plan. Is like, we're just gonna get there and relax. Like if you want to do something great, go and do it. Otherwise, there's a big pool. There's the beach and the ocean. There you go. Like that's just relax. So we've done that trip. Like we've Mana and I have been to PCB together three times now, I think. 2 I know for sure. Because we started going on vacations. So that was our first time, and that was in 2018, which was the same year we got married. And so 2018 was with her family. 2019 was with my family. 2020... Well, 2020, I think we just did a staycation or... I'm not sure about 2020 because of the pandemic. I think we took a vacation, but I think we just stayed at home that year because we couldn't go anywhere. It wasn't safe enough to go anywhere. And then last year, I know for sure we went there. 2020, we may have gone with my parents again because I know we've done 2 trips to see them. I'm actually not sure. Regardless, I know for sure we've been there twice because last year we went, not with her parents, we still went to PCB in the same resort that we always go to. But it was with our friends, the same couple that we go to the gym with. We went with them and stayed there for a week. And I got to tell you, they're some of my favorites. Like, again, I love seeing my folks. I love going to, like, destination vacations and, like, doing fun shit and seeing amazing things and having lots of fun doing the touristy stuff. But it's also really nice to just have a week where you're like, okay, I'm here. It's paid for. Here's the amount of money I have to last me for the week. That's as far as I have to think. Yeah, so we'll you know, everything lined up. That should be our vacation for next year, and I am really looking forward to it. It is so much less stress to just wake up whenever the fuck you want, go to sleep whenever the fuck you want, and do whatever the fuck you want in that time. You know, still nice to have, like, again, like some stuff planned, because there's plenty to do in PCV. Like I said, like they've got, you know, like speedboating and parasailing, and there's this place that they keep saying they want to go to for like the last few years called like Shell Island, where you take a ferry over there and it's just this little like sand barge, and just as the name implies is like surrounded by really gorgeous like water and seashells to collect. And I forget why we haven't done it the last two times. I think just like weather or whatever. So, and they just recently built Pier Park, which it's basically just like a big shopping area, but it's a really nice area down there. We visited it a bunch this last time, and it was a ton of fun. So it's a fun place to be. There's, again, like I love that there's a lot to do, and there's also a lot of nothing to do if that's what you want. So yeah, they're pretty great vacations. So I look forward to being able to do that next year, and we're already in talks with like a large group of friends to go down with us, like including Mana and I, somewhere around like 7 to 10 people. And just getting like a big, like super nice condo, splitting the cost between everybody, and then being there for a week. So yeah. But yeah, this trip was nice. It was good to, it was nice to be back, in at the various places that I grew up, the places from my childhood, seeing what was the same, seeing what had changed, seeing stuff that I hadn't even seen before. And then the biggest thing was, like introducing Mana to everything, all of these things that I talked about for years, that she finally got to see, and people she got to see, because again, our wedding was here, and Buffalo is, again, like basically another 600 to 700 miles, but northeast of us instead of southeast where Florida is. So, a very good amount of my family did make it to the wedding, but obviously not everybody did. And I have a very large family on both sides, so it was also a lot of people that she was suddenly meeting for the first time, and on like one of the busiest days of our lives. So it was nice to have the opportunity to meet a lot of them again, and also meet people that we hadn't before, but actually have the time to like sit and chat and like actually talk and like have conversations and get to know them and things like that. So yeah, it was great. Like I said, I had a couple days where it was basically just visiting with family. A couple days where we were just tourists. Like one day we basically just spent the whole day driving around Buffalo. My parents showing us the areas where they grew up and like the specific houses where they grew up. A lot of historical landmarks and things like that. Do you got one more for me? There you go, buddy. I got, and obviously we did some shopping. One of the neat little things I got was this. So I almost never use a mouse pad like in my whole life. But I saw this in, one of the little like touristy Buffalo shops, and knew I needed a mouse pad. So, see how well this shows up. Oh, perfect. Let's get him right there. Yeah. So that's downtown Buffalo. Just like a really nice black and white photograph on this mouse pad. What else did we buy? Most of the stuff we bought was, like a couple things like that. Thank you. I agree. So Buffalo is a sports town. They have the most dedicated sports fans of like any city I've fucking seen. Like, the NFL is huge in the US, hockey's pretty big too, mostly in like the Northeast, because it's much more of like a Canadian thing. But, sports is just big in the United States, of course, but, like, fuck. Like, everyone in Buffalo is like in one way or another a sports fan. Like even if you don't get into sports, you still have this pride in your team. So for the NFL, that's the Buffalo Bills, and for hockey, that's the Sabres. And so, same with me. Like, I could not care less about sports, except for the Bills and except for the Sabres. I am always asking my dad, who is a diehard fan of both, what's going on, who's winning, how are we doing this season, what are the trades like, who's the new coach, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. So, like, I got a, well, hold on, I'll show you. I got a hoodie, because I was able to find one in my size. Although I will say, a little pride in myself, it's getting easier to find things in my size. Again, I'm just tall as fuck. But... Oh, I should probably explain this before I show it. So like I said, the people of Buffalo are very dedicated people. It also has a very large Italian, Irish, Scottish population. And so there was a brand that started that was called the Bills Mafia. So wow, that blue is gorgeous. That is such a nice blue on that, huh? That's awesome. So yeah, so I got this. Mana got two, actually. She got one for the Sabres, which again is our hockey team. And then she got one that's just for, like, Buffalo itself. Like, Buffalo uses this... Let's see where it is. This very basic symbol a lot. It's just simply called the Standing Buffalo. So she got, like, a nice, like, gray pullover with, like, the Standing Buffalo on it. And then, like, again, like, we bought a couple other things, but it was, like... Some of it was like food, that you could like really only get there, which is a topic I'll cover in a second. And just normal stuff that like we would have gotten here. But hey, we were on vacation, so we used our vacation money for it. Like I bought a new Gundam model, and both of us bought like a couple books. But, so bringing up the topic I just did, the biggest thing that I was looking forward to while we were up there, and the biggest thing that I miss after coming home, is the food. Buffalo is known for two big things, and that is the sports, but even more so is the food. So, of course, everybody knows about Buffalo's chicken wings. An entire restaurant brand is all about that. Buffalo Wild Wings. But let me tell you, that restaurant is a blemish on the name of Buffalo. Because you can really only get actual Buffalo chicken wings, like, in the city. Like, the restaurants just do not do any sort of justice towards the actual thing. And if you go to Buffalo and you ask somebody for boneless wings or whatever other dumb fucking shit they've got on their menu, I would leave the city immediately. Pizza and wings are the biggest things that they're known for. Followed probably closely by a sandwich called beef on weck, which again it's basically a roast beef sandwich, but on this particular type of bun, called a weck bun. And it's basically a very airy, almost brioche kind of bun, but with salt and I forget what it is, some sort of seeds on top. Not the ones you normally get on burgers and stuff like that. But basically it's a beef sandwich on this very particular kind of bun, usually served with horseradish on it, and then, with like a dipping sauce. And those are incredible. Again, the chicken wings are made a very specific way. The pizza's a very specific way, with this very particular type of pepperoni that you just can't really get in a lot of other places. I forget the name of it, but you would know it if you saw it. So we of course had all that. Their subs are incredible. Of course they are. The other big thing in Buffalo, and in a lot of the North and in Canada as well, because it's a Canadian store, you want to talk about how Starbucks has like a location on every like street corner or whatever? Not in Buffalo. You'll find Starbucks for sure, but I don't know why they bother in that area, because there's a Canadian coffee and donut shop that was named after and maybe started by a player for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I believe, named Tim Horton. And so you will find a Tim's, like you can't go a block without seeing a Tim Hortons location in Buffalo. And I gotta tell you, they have the best coffee in the world. Absolute best. All their other stuff is okay. Donuts are fine. They've got like breakfast sandwiches and like paninis and stuff like that, and they're pretty good. Again, like you're never really gonna have like a bad meal or any food there, but the coffee is what does it. So yeah, the food and the coffee was a big part of the trip. And so after years and years of Mana listening to me spout off about like the food, how great it is, how like nothing you have will ever be the same again, blah blah blah, understandably, after the 100th time, she's like, okay, like, all right. But I promise you, every single meal that we had there, especially when it was those meals of like, hey, we're here in Buffalo, you are now trying this. The wings, the pizza, the subs, the beef on weck sandwiches, all of that. Every single time, after the first, even maybe just one bite or a couple bites, I'd look at them and be like, so? And they would just look at me and and just say like, I get it. And again, just as I suspected, after coming back, they've just been like, I miss Tim Hortons. I miss the pizza and wings. I miss the subs. I miss the this. I miss that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I told you. I will say, though, and I told this to all my family while we were there, and they perfectly understood. For as much as I love the food there, and, the sights, being, like, Niagara Falls was gorgeous, absolutely stunning, as it always is. The countryside where we were staying at, and even the city itself, I told everybody, I'm like, I do like it here. I love the stuff that's here. I am not moving back. I am never moving back here. I'll visit as often as I can, but I am not living here. And that, again, that had nothing to do with like family. It had nothing to do I'll tell you, the main reason is just their winters. The winter season there is fucking brutal. And I don't mean just temperature either, but the amount of snow that they get and have to deal with. I'm not doing that. It is way too much for me. Mana and I barely handle taking care of the house that we have in the conditions that we have, and we don't really get extreme weather here. It gets hot, it gets cold. We do have to deal with snow a little bit every once in a while, but even that little bit that we get, like 1 foot of snow here would be devastating to the area. They wouldn't know how to handle it. A foot of snow in Buffalo is like a Tuesday. They could get 10 feet and like it would still be a big fucking deal. But that's not the worst they've ever had. They've dealt with blizzards, like things that have lasted weeks and killed people. We've never had to deal with that here. We are in Tornado Alley here, and again, I'm not saying we don't get severe weather. The stuff that we get is like tornadoes and like severe thunderstorms. Like that's the stuff we have to deal with, which again, does cause a lot of damage, does kill, but it's done and over with. If for those of you that have been here long enough, can probably remember, just a couple months ago, we had some pretty severe weather that knocked out our power for about 3 or 4 days. So we do get the bad shit here, but like nothing like the winters in Buffalo. And I'm just, like I said, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not intentionally moving to a place where I know that that's what I'm going to have to deal with. So I'll be leaving that to visits. Which, I'll also quickly say, like, I'm not actually worried or anything because they've been through it a couple times, but for those of you that pray or anything like that, or even if you don't, just kind of keep my parents in mind, give them a prayer if that's what you do. Because they're back in Florida, and Florida's just about to get hit with the Cat 5 hurricane. Or, I'm sorry, Cat 4. Again, thankfully, they're pretty far inland that they've never dealt with anything too severe on their part. Again, they've been there since 2015, and they said, like, basically the worst of it that they've ever had to deal with was their power being out for like a day or two. And that's honestly been the worst of it for them. They've never had to, like, their home has never had damage or been like devastated. They've never been like left homeless or anything like that. They've always been fine. They're far enough inland to where they get severe weather from the hurricane, of course, but nothing like the coastal cities or anything. But even so, keep them in mind. I'll definitely be checking in with them as often as I can this week. Hurricane Ian. I've got Twitch pulled up, and one of the suggested channels is I guess talking about it. Oh, it's Hassan. Okay, well, there we go. Moist Critical. I guess he's in Florida because his stream title is just streaming during hurricane. So yeah, there's that. I don't really, like I said, I this is really about it. I didn't have any plans for today specifically. I was just gonna sit and chat with you guys, see what happened. Just talk about my vacation a little bit. Still going back and forth as to what stream's gonna be after October. I'm pretty sure I know what it is going to be. And since most of October is going to be all about the spookies, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit now. Because it's something I know. Alright. So my wife asked me who was the best vampire. I said that dude from Sesame Street. She said he doesn't count. I can assure you he does. Once we're done with October, which, by the way, I think what I'm going to be playing during October is going to be Metro 2033, because it's a horror game, it's pretty popular, and I've had it for years, but I've never actually played it. So we may give that a try. Also, J.R.R. Beasley, welcome in. What do you think of Liz Truss's economic policy causing a run on the pound? I think that I had fucking nothing. I don't know what any of that fucking meant. Let me get through this fucking thought real quick. I gotta like not look at you guys for a second and just fucking focus. For October, for the game that we're playing, I'm gonna try Metro 2033, see how it goes. See how we're all liking it. Interspersed with like reading the creepypastas. And who knows, maybe some other stuff. Trying to end the month on a live stream, an IRL stream of like a paranormal investigation somewhere. I think that'd be super cool. And then after that, coming back to regular stream, I think we're going to be doing Kingdom Hearts. I don't know which one we're starting with, but it's something that I know I can play for hours at a time and have fun with it. And it's a game series that means a lot to me personally, and I'd love to share that with you guys. So hope you guys stick around for it. So we'll be starting that in November. Check the specific date. So again, all of October is going to be... So, starting next Monday, and then going through until the 31st, we'll be doing all that stuff, and then starting November 2nd, that Wednesday, I think we'll be starting a Kingdom Hearts game, whether it's the first one or whether it's Birth by Sleep. But I'm kind of leaning towards Birth by Sleep. Shut up, Beasley. But yeah, that's the general plan for the next 2 months. So I'll say one of the other things I debated starting to do on stream, and hey, let me know if this interests you guys more than me playing a video game or whatever. So I kind of mentioned it before that, like, while on vacation I bought a new Gundam model. I did toss around the idea, because I have a couple that I still haven't finished yet. I thought about doing that for stream, like building Gunpla models. I have no idea if there's a market for that shit on Twitch. I haven't even looked. I'm looking at the front page though, and in the categories we think you'll like, so basically the popular ones right now, There is one for something called Gundam Evolution, which I'm sure is just like a video game, but you know, Gundam is still going on. There's still a market for it. But yeah, I don't know if that's like too niche. I don't really know what we would like do. I don't know if you guys would find that entertaining or not. So let me know about that. All right, Dubs. Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not gonna be on for too much longer, anyways. Like I said, I didn't really have too much of a plan for today. I was just gonna kind of chit chat with you guys and see how it went. So yeah, thanks for stopping by as always, man. Have fun. Hopefully, we'll see you on Friday. The only other thing I really debated for stream was, well, not the only thing. I debated doing some drawing stuff, and again, like, none of this is like completely out the window, but I do want stream to be a little more focused on like one thing to try and like gather like an actual audience and community, and then start to do like more variety stuff. You know, I thought about doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff, whether that be like going through like actual material, or making my own, or attempting to do like a once, even like a once a month like stream for it or something. Or like drawing, you know, because I know tons of you know, people on Twitch do like art streams and stuff like that. So I don't know. We still got a whole other month to think through things. But until then, guys, I'm gonna head out for today, but we are going to go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and raid my good friend Ara. She just started DMing a new campaign that I'm in. We started it last night, and it is a ton of fun. They've been very good so far. I've liked their style, so I'm really looking forward to that game. So they'll be playing some Dead by Daylight. So hope you guys had fun today on this shorter stream. Thank you everybody for being here. We'll see you on Friday with fucking something. All right, goodbye.